implement this law will pay a personal price, will hurt the state finances, and jeopardize our state. It doesn't get any clearer than that, right?
Great.
But then we have one of our assistant attorney generals walk out of that courtroom, take 12 steps in front of the press, and perhaps for the first time in history for a Wisconsin attorney general and his staff to say that we don't think we have to follow this court order. It's
shame.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, it's so remarkable that the person who's charged with enforcing our laws throughout this state would say that a judge's order isn't necessarily something we have to follow. Where does that take us? Only to Fitzwalker stand, right? And if we have to continue to speak out because they continue to defy the law.
Yeah.
Is that Capitol building open yet?
No!
Should it be open?
Yes!
Of course it should be open. That is the people's house of democracy, and they continue to defy the law and close those doors that need to be open. And we will not quit, Governor Walker, until those doors are open.
Great.
That building belongs to us.
Okay.
We're going to take it back, right? You know, Governor Walker, the people give him a big mansion on a lake with a fence around it, and he's allowed to lock that gate. But he's not allowed to lock those doors.
Yeah.
He has to understand that we will not tolerate that. Now, let me tell you, part of the problem is, though, that Governor Walker marches to a different band. You know, we march to the UW Fighting Band, led by Badgers, all of us Badgers, but he follows a different band. It's a band that has trumpets that want to pillage our wetlands, as he tried to do in Green Bay. It's a band led by trombones that want to take away our power plants for private profit. It's a band led by cornets that want to take away women's health rights. It's a band led by drums, beat by the Koch brothers, that want to pour millions of dollars into these campaigns so they can get a right-wing radical government. Will we stand for that in Wisconsin? No! Absolutely not. And I can tell you that as we stand here today, our Secretary of Administration, Mike Hips, put out a statement. You know, he sounded worse than a two-armed economist. He said, well, I have to follow the laws, and I believe that the law was implemented. On the other hand, he said, Judge Sumi did say that if we implement these laws, we put our state at risk, and that it's not allowed to implement these laws. And he said, we'll continue to consult with our attorneys. I would say, why don't you continue to follow the law?
Yes!
Why don't you listen to the judge? Why don't you follow court orders?
Great.
That's what's required here in Wisconsin. That's the way we've always done it. And that's what we have to restore our democracy here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I want to end, before I introduce my colleague, just by saying how much we thank each and every one of you. You know, when they terminated that Joint Finance Committee early, you came up and marched to the Capitol and continued that hearing for another 150 hours. Thank you for that. When they turned off our microphones, you gave us megaphones. When they locked out the Capitol, you continued to march around it until those doors were open. We thank you for that. We were weary in that 62-hour debate. We didn't just break the record, we shattered the record. You gave us strength. So we thank you for all of your hard work, for being faithful to this cause that we all believe so strongly in. And we say, we will not quit. So, Tuesday is our first chance, as we've been hearing. We're going to have to make sure that everybody comes out to vote. And then the next step up after that is on May 3rd. There's special elections to replace the governor's 3 top lieutenants. You know, one of the people at the Natural Resources, the Secretary of Transportation, but especially his top lieutenant, Mike Hipsch's seat in La Crosse, that we intend to win, to begin to reverse this tide, to send that message that you cannot keep a seat held by your top lieutenant when you put forward these radical right-wing policies, when you fail to obey judges' orders, and we can turn Wisconsin into Fitzwalkerstan. To make sure we turn out in May 3rd, and then that'll roll over to the recall elections, but we have to continue to march forward to turn back the Senate away from these people who would violate our rights, who would end 50 years of labor history, and then from there we'll roll into January where the governor himself will be retired. Let me now introduce a guy in our caucus that has been, comes from organized labor, came from the AFT, one of the best minds in labor history, one of the strongest voices, and one of the people who have had the most heart throughout this debate, my friend and colleague, a great warrior, Representative Corey Mason.